Hey, what's up? All right, so I'm gonna do confessional number two for the day. Kind of like I have two confessionals in an episode. So I was kind of just taking a break and I ate a little bit and I wrote some stuff down because it kind of helps me. All right, so one thing I've noticed about the internet these days is I think it's getting a little bit, it's getting like better than it used to be when I was growing up. And the stuff I like is like the random, like boring, frivolous things that like I do, and then like I go online and I talk about it. But now like people take videos of like the stuff they're doing and stuff, and like they find it interesting and they get comments and stuff. So I guess other people find it interesting too. And that was the kind of stuff I was into when I was younger, like in high school. Like I would just talk about, like I would try to like feel out what is the most like boring, like mundane thing I can talk about, and I would like type about it and stuff. But now we can take videos and stuff. All right, so that's what I was kind of like excited about. And like aside from video games, I'm still pretty into Survivor. I don't know why. Like pretty much it's like okay, so my genuine feelings on Survivor is pretty much just like I really like the sort of social aspect, kind of like, you know, even if your whole strategy is to like not speak or like not do anything and like sleep all day, which some people have done, like you're still a part of like the game and you're still like a part of socially what's going on. So like I kind of like how no matter how awkward or weird people find you, you're still part of the whole like group. And that's kind of what I learned from the American version of Survivor. Like no matter if you're the first boot or if you last a while but people find you so strange, like you're still there and you're still a part of like the dynamics going on, no matter how, even if you're trying not to be a part of it, like you're still there like with everyone, like trying to survive like in the tribe and stuff. So like I know I talk or I mention a lot about like stalking and stuff. I don't know if it's because like I notice other people just like paying attention to me, like even if I'm not doing anything, and I'm just like, why is this person like looking at me, or like why is this person like bringing me up or like mentioning me when I'm like obviously trying not to like engage like the social group, like and I'm just like, I've always noticed that even when I was younger, like I've always noticed like people always looking at me and stuff, and like I guess that's like an American thing. It's just like people looking at you. All right, so I wrote down confessional, get stuff off my chest, and then I wrote down how I felt weird about working and how society thought of me working kind of like a fast food job basically. And I wrote down, I think that's mainly it. And then I wrote down a bunch of other stuff like how I thought the customers were pretty weird and they would kind of like talk to you on the side and be like ask me personal questions and stuff. And the one question I got all the time was, what is my race? For some reason, they couldn't figure it out. And then like working at like a fast food McDonald's type place, and how now I really don't care, but at the time I thought it was kind of a little bit weird that like for some reason that's just in the air. I don't know if it's because of movies or what people see or watch, but like working a job like that, like society, when I say society, just like, I guess, you just, what people on all of America just generally think when they're just thinking about it or whatever. But like how they think that's such like a loser job, and like all these jokes about like stoners at like restaurants and stuff. And I just want to talk about it just so I can stop talking about it and just let it go. But okay, so I think working your first job is like pretty important. I've come to learn that now. And it's kind of like a milestone, like achievement, I guess. And just personally, how it made me feel, that experience was pretty like mortifying, I thought. Because like, I kind of thought like, uh, I don't know. I always compare everything to Survivor, and I just kind of thought people would be kind of like that. Like they would have a strategic mind, and they're business savvy, or like business sense, and like kind of like, I mean, we're not like trying to survive or anything like that. I mean, but like if you pull your weight at work and kind of like do your job, like no matter how menial, like just doing everything you can to not be like deemed lazy or even overworking, and like once you finish your task, you kind of help out your coworkers with theirs if they're having a hard time or if they're going slow. And I think I checked like all the bubbles. Like I thought I was a workhorse when I was working there, and like I carried my weight. I don't know how else to say it. That's just stuck in my mind. Like I did everything they asked of me, and like my personal opinion, like the main, most important thing ever at Chipotle was the customers. And they wanted you to have that whole customer service feel, like the whole like, hi, how are you? How's your day? Like, what would you like to order? And like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. How's the family? Like, are you getting dinner? Like stuff like that. Or like, where's the kids? Or like, whatever. And then, like, even little things like speaking to the kids and stuff, like, they pay attention to that and how you act towards them and stuff. And I never thought anything was weird, and I never had a problem with that. Um, and I don't know, like, after that whole experience, I like dropped that whole thing, which was so awful. I dropped the whole like customer service feel. But I actually like, personally speaking, I actually like that whole thing. Like, cuz it just makes me think of like Happy Days or like the 50s, and like I actually like fast food. Like, I don't know why Americans think it's such a loser job, but I think it's pretty cool. And it's like a old timey kind of like diner, kind of like McDonald's is very American. I was like, I just came into the country when I was a little kid, and I loved McDonald's. I thought the food was so good, and like it was one of the few things I could like stomach, like in America, like American food and stuff, because I had a hard time eating when I was a kid. But I did love McDonald's, and like I don't know why people think it's such a loser job. Like I have no idea where that came from. And I noticed a lot of the Mexicans working there were kind of like almost kind of like depressed, like the whole time they were working. Like you ask them how their day is, and they just kind of like dismissive or something. But I was trying to like show them, I was like, in America, we really like the whole cheery kind of like happy-go-lucky thing. Kind of like if you're having a bad day, you need to not show it to anyone, to me, to your coworkers, to the customers. You need to just kind of like leave that at home and like put on like a work face. So I don't think they ever really got it, but I was like, I really put on like a face when I was treating the customers, because like I actually thought the job was fun. Like I like the food and like I bought into everything that they teach you. It's not like brainwashing, it's just pretty much a job and you have to like know everything. And I never had a problem with anything. Like for some reason, like if you're kind of like this kind of like emo, rock and roll, punk type of stoner, type of like sort of 20 early 20-year-old, like for some reason they had a problem with like kids and stuff. Like I don't know why. Like Courtney, who was like, oh, like I actually don't like kids, and then it's like I thought it was kind of a little bit strange. And then most of the time they noticed that I was pretty good with handling the customers, so they would have me up front, which I thought was a little bit weird because I was a guy, and usually they'd want more of the girls up front just because they would seem likely to be more friendly and stuff. But they always had me up front, and I was always at the first position at Tortilla, so I was like the first person the customer had to talk to. And I knew how to do everything, but they very rarely had me work prep or even the grill or anything. They just always loved me at the front. And I was like, I had no problem talking to anyone. And I'll admit, yeah, I was a little bit nervous at first, but I've come to learn that I can kind of just talk to anyone and it's fine. So, um, yeah, and like when I got fired from that job, I thought it was so unfair because like I worked really hard and I was just like, I don't know, they gave me some like bullshit excuse and I was just like, this is so weird. So yeah, that happened. And to not leave it on like a bad note, like um I do still remember the experience, and like I do like it's not like strange or anything, but I do remember like all the customers and stuff. So um I don't know. I just think about it sometimes and like I just equate it to Survivor and like at least I had a good social game or something. I don't know. And then the next, I wrote down 2 points. The next one is like, what do I want to talk about? And then I wrote down not other people, mainly myself and my interests. And then I wrote down some kind of funny stuff. I was just like life outside of America and not really missing my life there. And like I'm almost kind of laughing at how the internet kind of like pokes fun at what's going on in the U.S. now. Um, I think mostly with like the whole like food and like how food prices are so high and people can't eat and stuff, and like how people can't find jobs. Like for some reason I just like I don't know, I just find myself very kind of like it's not personally affecting me, so I cannot care about it. And then I just want to like talk about it so I can just forget about it. And then this is stuff I've been thinking about for the last 7 years here is just like I mean, did I really learn anything from like living in America? Or am I just like I don't know. I don't really miss my life there too much, and like I wrote down I don't really miss my friends, and um I wrote down I'm doing so much better here now, and I'm making new relationships here, and mostly I'm just trying to lose weight and like tone up and like trying to get my fill of video games, and I'm getting to know Filipinos, the Philippines, and yeah, and like one thing I noticed here, I went to the mall recently, and everyone was with their parents pretty much, and like I kind of like that just because like there was a little bit of like ill factor when I got to college, and like I took this one English class and they were talking about Oedipus Rex, and it was pretty much like I notice it with white people a lot is like they kind of just get kicked out of the house at 16 or they move out at 18 and they live independently forever, and they don't feel like they owe their parents anything, and like they don't really care about them anymore, and they just like leave them at a home or whatever. And like I don't know, I'm not saying that's all of them, but like I've encountered that so many times that I just kind of feel like that's what mostly happens. But here, like I kind of feel like being close with your parents, even as you get older, is like so normal. And I don't feel like I owe them anything either, but just like I don't know if it's just because like Survivor's on my mind, but like there's a whole immunity thing, like being close with the people that bore you kind of like gives you immunity towards certain diseases and stuff, and like I don't know if that's a huge important deal, but and then I kind of don't feel the ick factor when say you have to bring someone home, like a girlfriend or something, you bring them home and your parents are there. I don't really feel the ick factor. Like, I don't know what white kids think of their parents when they're in a relationship, but I don't feel that way. I'm just kind of like, stop being like a child and just like get over it. You know what I mean? And then I don't even know what I wrote here. I never really got America, or it's like what they're trying to teach me. I mean, I mostly really like the 50s and like diners and McDonald's and stuff like that. That's what I think of when I think of America. But like when I got to college and stuff and what they were trying to teach me, like not even the individual subjects, but just like what was in the air, or just like what's the gist of like this whole experience. Like mostly what I got out of it was just like a lot of sex and like stuff like that, and like that's mostly what was in the air for me, and I was just kind of like turned off like immediately when I got to college, and they use the n-word and stuff. And pretty much I just want to see more of the world now, mostly like Asia and stuff. Like I really want to go to Japan and try sushi because it looks so yummy like on YouTube and stuff. And like out of all this stuff that I wrote down or what I said, like what's like the most important part? Just that I don't really miss America all that much. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like haughty or anything, but like I don't think like the gist of that whole experience, like I don't think it really taught me much, like I don't really feel patriotic or anything. Like some people love to act that way. It's just a little bit obnoxious, but yeah, and I don't have to talk to them like Americans if I don't want to. Like just cuz like I don't live there anymore, and like here it's just so much better for me. And the one thing I said, or I've been saying, is like about the US is I don't really like the people. Maybe with Americans is maybe what they get out of like meeting me is just like, yeah, you don't like me too much, or yeah, we're tough, or matapang, and like, yeah, you don't really like that, or just whatever makes them feel good at the end of the day. Uh, but I don't necessarily feel like they're like that. I just kind of felt like life there was pretty soft. I mean, I'll keep saying that. I mean, like, if you have a nice job, a cozy home, and you're like a young kind of, or you have a little bit of age and you're like a single guy, like life at home is pretty soft. Like what they show on TV, the music, even the internet, if you don't dive into that like weird hardcore stuff, I mean, if you're just a regular guy, I said it in a previous video. I'm just like, how are you not in jail, and why are you not in the service if you're like a guy and you're just like, you just have a job and you just kind of like do that day to day. You run back and forth from your work to home. And my dad told me, he was like, there's a lot of like lonely guys like in San Francisco. And I'm like, man, how can you live like that? I would just go, like, I would just go crazy inside the house, like having to watch the same TV over and over. I mean, don't you get tired of that? Or like, Americans think they're the best, but like, I kind of feel like even me, like I'm like one of the most like, I feel like I'm a really nice guy, but like sometimes even I think that I need a little like hardness, or like I don't like things too soft, I like hard things too, and like just living that way is like, I don't know how you can do it every day, really. Like, if you're like, I felt that way when I was in my early 20s. Like, I kind of felt like I just had to leave, like, America. I mean, it's so soft. It's so the best. It's so comfy. It's so comfortable. It's so cozy. You feel so safe. Oh my God. Um, if you like that, like, I just kind of feel like maybe you haven't experienced anything, like any hardship, and like, I don't know, I don't know what else to say. Like, and if you're a guy, like, I mean, I don't want to call you soft, but even me, I'm like the nicest guy ever, but like, I'm not that soft where like, I have like a little techie job. I take my bike to work and go home, and like I cook foods and like sit and like watch TV and like play some gamers, like repeat every day. Like I would go insane. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I don't know why I feel that way or why I felt that way. But here it's like a little bit, it's just different and I like it. It's not, um, it's definitely not America, which I like. I'm like, um, I'm just trying to be more honest and not feel like I have to like crawl in a hole here, and like not be so scared of the internet and like what comments may come or anything, and like nothing's gonna happen. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been thinking about for the past like hour. All right, so confessional number 2, and thank you.